Hello, everybody. If you can see me coming in loud and clear, let me know. Hello, hello. My name is Tom Dodorian. I'm the CMO of LaunchBoom, and I'm so excited to be on here with you all today for the first episode ever of LaunchBoom Live. So if you could hear me, let me know in the comments. It'll pull it all, and I'll be able to answer any questions that you guys have. And I'm so excited here. So I'm actually going to wait a couple minutes, let people start trickling in, and really make sure that this is going live on all the platforms. This is our first time ever doing this, so I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of technical difficulties and all sorts of other stuff. It looks like some people are. Hey, so glad that we got some people waving. So glad to see that people are able to hear me. If you can see me, hear me, you should be able to see my screen. It says LaunchBoom Live on it, so if you can, let me know. And so I'm really excited today to go through this with you guys. I have some incredible content for you guys today, and I'm so excited. This is truly the beginning of something truly incredible. LaunchBoom Live is going to be awesome. And today, this next hour is just day number 1. I'm going to be going over 6 different topics with you guys today, 10 minutes a piece. But again, I'm jumping ahead of myself here. We're going to be digging in here in just a second. I just want to give this a couple minutes to really open up and make sure that everything is working everywhere. If you guys, people on Facebook, people on YouTube, if you're seeing this, go ahead and post a comment. Let me know if you guys can see me. If you guys can hear me loud and clear. Give me a 1 or a thumbs up, whatever's easiest for you. And I'm going to check with my team on my end to make sure that everything's sounding good. Awesome. Just to let you guys know a little bit about myself, where I'm calling in from. So I am calling in from North Carolina. I used to live in San Diego with the rest of the incredible LaunchBoom team, but recently moved out here with my fiance. And nice, people can see me. Awesome. Hopefully you can hear me in addition to see me. All good. Awesome. Sweet. So yeah, let me know where you guys are calling in from. And so glad to hear that this stream is going well. But yeah, so a little bit about myself. Been in the crowdfunding industry for, it's been like 7-ish years. It's 8 years, 2012. So math, almost gonna be 9 years. So really exciting to be part of this. Have a background in video production. Used to work in Hollywood and all that fun stuff, storytelling, all of that, before, of course, digging into marketing. So have a really strong background in digital marketing, helped build out the team for the digital marketing team in the early days of LaunchBoom, 5-6 years ago, 7 years ago, and have just an extensive background in everything there is to do about building a brand, telling a story, marketing your product. So hopefully I'll be able to share just a little bit of that knowledge with you guys today and in the future. So without further ado, let's jump in. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what to expect with LaunchBoom Live. This is the first of some incredible things. And if you're just tuning in right now, know that at the end of this, I'm going to be doing a really awesome giveaway. So I'm going to try to do as many giveaways as possible. Not every single one of these will have something to give away, but what's really exciting is we do have something really cool to give away at the end of LaunchBoom Live. So stay tuned to find out if you won. But let's jump in. So the agenda for today, and this is going to be the structure for all LaunchBoom Lives moving forward. So you'll notice that there are 6 lines here. Can you guess what those are? If you're guessing topics, you are correct. So the things that, so what we're going to be going through today, what LaunchBoom Live is all about, is about giving you really valuable content. And I could talk for hours on so many different subjects, from digital marketing to campaign videos to all of that stuff. And if you're in LaunchBoom Academy, you're part of office hours, you've heard me do it before. But instead, I wanted this to, and I've done a ton of webinars. If you've seen any webinars that I've done, again, you can definitely go check those out at launchboom.com. But I really want this to give people like bite-sized, really valuable pieces of information. And so again, looking at this agenda, you can notice that there are 6 slots. And we've got 60 minutes here today, 4 minutes of which has been spent kind of giving you guys a little bit of an introduction and letting people hop on. And so this is going to be cram-packed with information. So what that means is, again, 60 minutes, 6 sections. That means that we're going to be going over 6 different topics, every single one of LaunchBoom Lives. And of course, sometimes if we've got a bigger topic or something like that, we might like stitch a couple of those sections together just to make sure that we're nice and thorough. But for today and for most of these, it's going to be 10-minute blocks of content. And I'm just so excited about that. So if maybe, you see something in the agenda you're really excited about, know that I'm going to be right on time, and I'm going to make sure that that's being covered at that time. So part number 1, let's get into the agenda. Again, I'm telling you guys about LaunchBoom Live. I'm going to be going over the agenda for today, what we're going to be covering. And so let's dig in. So first, LaunchBoom Live, what is this? This is an incredible, awesome podcast. It's a show. It's a video podcast. Not really sure what to call this other than LaunchBoom Live, where I'm going to be covering topics surrounding crowdfunding or maybe crowdfunding adjacent topics. And so it's going to be a lot of really valuable information. If you're looking to launch a product or even just thinking about launching a product, you're definitely in the right place. We're going to be having guest speakers hop on here in the future. We've already got some really fun stuff lined up for you later this quarter. And I'm just so excited. And so you might be asking yourself, well, how do I get my questions answered? How do I get on LaunchBoom Live? How do I get Tom to review my campaign page or my video? How can I get more support? Well, if you're watching this right now, it's currently being broadcasted to 3 different platforms. It's broadcasted to our public Facebook. It's broadcasted to our Facebook group called the Crowdfunded Community. And then it's also broadcasted to YouTube. So wherever you're calling in from, I'm broadcasting to all of those places. And I can see all of your comments in one wonderful place, thanks to the cool technology that I'm using. But there is a clear advantage. It's like, well, which platform should I watch this on? Well, that's truly up to you. I want to be where you're at. Eventually, we're going to be getting this content onto iTunes and Spotify as well. But the real kind of the heart of this content, the heart of this group is going to be the crowdfunded community. And so that's the Facebook group. If you just go on Facebook and search for crowdfunded community, you can find it and you can join it today. That's where I'm going to be getting questions from. That's where I'm going to be getting content from. That's where I'm going to be engaging with the community. And so if you want the best experience to get all of your questions answered, join the crowdfunded community. And so if anybody in the crowdfunded community is watching this right now and wants to put a comment in and be like, this is what it's like, this is my experience of it, or anything like that, I'll pull those into the Facebook group. And so yes, and of course we'll be sharing the YouTube link and all that other fun stuff as well. Cool. Well, let's keep going before we get to the next section. So I'm going to be going over today's launches. LaunchBoom has launched some really awesome projects today, so excited to go over that, go over some of those metrics. Going to be reviewing the campaign page, so really excited. Going to be helping MÄNNKITCHEN today. Going to be reviewing their campaign page of their upcoming crowdfunding launch. They're part of the crowdfunding community, and so again, that's where we found them. I'm going to be going over my favorite product messaging tool. So this is, if you are struggling with product messaging, how to, position your product, this is my favorite tool for product messaging. And so I'm going to be going over that with you today. I've actually kind of got 2 different things there, but it should be lots of fun. Number 5, I'm actually going to be giving you your total marketing plan. And so if you know what you're doing, this is going to be preaching to the choir. But if you don't, then you should be really excited, because I'm literally going to lay out the next 3 years of your life if you're looking to launch a product on a very macro level. So again, only got 10 minutes here, so it's going to be pretty high level, but hopefully it's going to help give you a little bit more direction so you know kind of what to do when. And then last but not least, we're going to be digging into, we're going to do a Q&A at the end. I'll have 10 minutes, so make sure you get those questions in chat. So that's where the questions will be asked. So get those questions in chat, and I'll be able to pull a couple of those on screen and get those answered. And then at the end of the Q&A, of course, we have the giveaway. So really exciting. And so guess what time it is, guys? It is 10:09. So it is time to move to the next section. So section number 2, today's launches. So LaunchBoom launched 2 campaigns today. We launched Control, it's a biokinetic golf sleeve, and Lulu Pet. They're both awesome products. I know LaunchBoom's definitely really well known for launching golf products. We've pretty much launched the biggest golf campaigns in the industry, but we're also known for a lot of different fun things like kitchen stuff, pet stuff, all of that. And so really excited about these two launches. So again, you can go check them out. And so let's look at their metrics though. So how did they do? What did it look like during pre-campaign that led to the success that they're both having right now? So right now I've got another window open here, and I can tell you exactly how much each is raised. So Control launched first this morning. So they launched a little earlier than Lulu Pet and have so far raised over $36,000. So they have a $10,000 goal and they've already raised $36,000. So what does that mean? That means this is definitely going to be a massively successful campaign. Lulu Pet launched a little bit later. So I believe it literally just went live like less than 10 minutes ago. And so that has so far raised $7,230. So again, not a bad start, but really excited to see how these do in the first 24. I'm sure both are going to blow their goals well out of the water. So let's look at, what contributed to the success that you're seeing? How the heck has in the less than a couple minutes has this biokinetic golf sleeve raised over $35,000? Well, let's look at this. So again, if you're not familiar with our funnel, you're about to be. What we do is we send traffic to landing pages to collect email addresses. Once we have their email address, then we are collecting a reservation. So that's like a $1 reservation where they can then join a Facebook group, get exclusive discounts, all that other fun stuff. And then of course, ultimately purchase the product. And so these are some of the metrics from the pre-campaign. So the cost per lead on this was $2.71. So at first you might be like, well, that seems kind of high. Like why? Because usually you hear LaunchBoom, we preach about $1 cost per lead or things like that. But again, we've got a much more important metric here, which is the second one, which is the cost per reservation, which is $24.76, which is awesome. That's what we're looking for. And so a lot of times what you'll see is when we start advertising, we'll first start by advertising using again, on Facebook, we're using a cost per lead or our lead generation as our primary focus. So we're optimizing for leads, right? So it's a little higher in the funnel. We're never optimizing for clicks. That's too early. Don't do it. Do not optimize for clicks. We're optimizing for leads, which is like the next best thing, right? And so that will, of course, get our cost per leads down. And then we'll be able to use that to identify our best audiences, our best creative. It allows us to spend while giving Facebook enough ammo and information to get enough actions per week so that we can really utilize Facebook's algorithm. So that's why, again, we'll first start by optimizing for CPL. Then as we're starting to move into the pre-campaign, we'll then switch to optimizing for purchases. So that's our, again, that's the CPR there. So it's the cost per reservation, $24.76, which is incredible. I'm actually going to pull up Lulu Pet's metrics here too, so we can talk about them side by side. CPL of $291, CPR of $31.92, and then a conversion rate of 20%. So CR, let's talk about that really quickly. So conversion rate is how is the page converting in terms of converting clicks to leads. And so this gives us a metric to optimize for during the pre-campaign, right? It's like, how well are we telling the story of this product? And both of them are fantastic. Our target is 20%. That's what we shoot for. And there you have it. We nailed it for both of these launches. Again, reasons why these are both doing great. They both passed Test Boom, and it looks like both of them are doing amazing. So if you have questions at the end of this, again, Q&A section, all of that fun stuff, I'm sure you'll probably have some questions in regard to advertising or anything like that. If you have any questions now, I do have some time before we move to the next topic. If you have any questions about these two campaigns, if you're asking questions like, well, how much did you spend? Digging into the top performing ads, all of that fun stuff. I wish I could, but unfortunately that's going to be some juicy, wonderful content for either the crowdfunding community and for our LaunchBoom Academy students. And so if you want to get like the real, like sink your teeth into some real metrics, and really understand what worked, what didn't work with these two campaigns. Those are some of the things that I cover during office hours during LaunchBoom Academy. If you don't know what LaunchBoom Academy is, go check it out, launchboom.com, I believe /academy, or just click the learn dropdown at the top of our page. You can click on Academy and learn more about what that is. So LaunchBoom Academy is a place where anybody can come and learn what it takes to launch your very own product on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. So really, really, really cool. And so I am getting some questions coming in here. And since I do have an extra 5 minutes before we move on to the next section, I will be able to answer questions in regards to advertising, pre-campaign, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to pull this question on screen. So what is a good number of emails to have collected? That is a great question. So that's entirely dependent upon what your goals are. So for example, if you're trying to have a $50,000 campaign, that's very different than having a $100,000 campaign. And so again, as I said before too, we're looking at leads and we're looking at number of reservations. So those are the two things that we're really looking for. Traditionally, most launches, I like to see over 10,000 emails collected before launching in order to have a successful launch boom. So 10,000 is a nice number that I like to again, that's just shooting from the hip. It really depends. If you're only trying to raise $5,000, you don't need that many. But if you're trying to raise $1 million, then you definitely want more emails. Again, like some of the larger campaigns we've done, for example, Zero Breeze is a great example. Well over $1 million campaign. We collected in the tens of thousands of emails prior to launching. And that was before we had our reservation funnel and all of that fun stuff. And so that's what you really want to look for. And let's again, we can do some math here, right? So, and again, next week, I'll be talking more about goal setting, budgeting, all of that fun stuff. So tune in next week for that. That's on the agenda for next week. But if again, we're looking at just, just a little bit of information here, let's say anywhere from 2 to 4% of your list is going to convert. You can then use those metrics to identify, well, okay, if only, worst case scenario, even if you let's say you've got a really expensive product, 1%. If you've got a really inexpensive product, let's push it up to 4%. I've seen some pre-campaigns, like for example, the EcoCube products, those were converting around 6%, 6 to 8%. And so you can actually using Excel or Google Sheets, really map out, okay, well, what does this look like if 1% of my list converts, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%, right? So that gives you kind of like a spectrum, worst case, best case scenario, depending on how qualified your leads are. And of course, best way to identify if your leads are qualified is to do a reservation funnel, but that's another conversation. And so instead, what you can be focused on is, okay, map that out, identify, okay, if 2% of my list converts, well, okay, how much revenue is that based on my average order value? So you can map that all out and identify and answer the question even for yourself, what is a good number of emails to have collected, rather than just saying 10,000 because Tom said 10,000. Map it out, do the math, and figure out exactly how many you need to blow your goal well out of the water within the first 24 hours. Launching without a pre-campaign is one of the worst things that you can do because it sucks. Launching and then having to slowly crawl your way up to your goal, and then maybe hitting it, maybe not hitting it. Again, that's why over 65% of crowdfunding campaigns fail, and only 1.8% of crowdfunding campaigns reach over 6 figures. And that's why I think it's half of 1%. So that's like 0.005 math of a percent that of people that ultimately hit $1 million. So not very many people. So again, do the math, make sure you take your time to really build out that pre-launch list so that you can have success. And guys, guess what time it is? 10:19, time to move to the next subject. So we're going to do a campaign page review. So I have maybe skimmed through this campaign page once. I wanted to make sure that this was nice and fresh for me. rather than kind of digging it in. I'm looking at first impressions. We're going to be focusing on the top of the campaign page first. Of course, I could do a review for well over an hour, but instead, we're going to be going into this, again, bite-sized pieces and focusing on a macro level. And I think this is fantastic too, because this is going to really lead into the other things I'm going to be talking about here today. So let's do this. I'm going to pull this over here. If you guys can see my screen, I'm going to blow this up. Hopefully you guys can see it. If you guys can see my screen, you can see the campaign page that I'm sharing. Let me know, put a 1 in the comments. Let's do this. So first things first, MÄNNKITCHEN. You guys are awesome, by the way. I'm really excited to show you guys some stuff. So before we dig into the campaign page, here's they've got a super cool, like hardcore metal spatula. These are some of their other products. And I also have one of their, look at this knife. This knife is no joke. We're gonna do a quick, side note on this. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Look at this. This is definitely a ridiculous knife. Look at that. That is insane. So again, clearly, and I'll pull this out here so you guys can see. Again, really high quality product, really well balanced. Really stoked to be going over this campaign page. So great work. So let's dig into the campaign page. So let's see here. So top of the page, we're going to work our way down. So top of the page, we've got MÄNNKITCHEN, Pepper Canyon, the pepper mill for pepper lovers, pepper your steak in 7 cranks instead of 70. So this matters a lot. And congratulations, you crushed it. I think this does a really great job. It's what you are, like the pepper mill for pepper lovers, awesome. Pepper your steak in 7 cranks instead of 70. I think you really clearly exemplify the problem solution combination. That's usually the first thing that I'm looking for is, do you understand your target consumer and do you understand their need? Like, what do they want? What is the problem that you are solving, right? And this really, really well identifies as 7 cranks instead of 70. I think that that's really cool. As somebody who loves cooking myself, I can really relate to that problem. I hate it. It's just so frustrating. And so that's really well done. Next, as we move down the page, we're going to be looking at the image itself. So on Kickstarter, we like to look for clean, really clean on-brand content. And I definitely think you're landing this really well. I like the showing the product. It's clear, front and center. I think it's awesome. It shows like what it's able to do. You've got some of the competitors here. They're on their side. They did not survive. I think it's just really, really, really well done here. Really clean, really awesome. It's really focused on product design first, which I think is really important. We're not going to be digging into your video today. That can definitely be maybe another subject for the future, but let's start digging in. So I know that this is a work in progress for you, and I know that you're looking for feedback here. So I'm going to give you feedback as if it were finished. And I know it's not finished, and I know that you're still working on stuff, but I'm going to give you real feedback here. So of course, we've got above the fold, right, which is this. And now below the fold, this is going to be the first thing that people are going to be looking at to start learning. And so again, you've got your content really kind of spaced out here. I'm not the biggest fan, and I do like leading with really powerful imagery. You'll notice that some of the other campaign pages. So for example, I can pull up Lulu Pet over here. I think is a beautiful campaign page. So pull up Lulu Pet over here. You can see its imagery first, right? Or again, the other launch that went off today, control imagery first. Like the first thing that we're seeing is, and if you're wondering why I'm looking over here, it's because I've got another screen over here. So hopefully it's not weird for you. So we've got, we've got this imagery top of the page, and we clearly understand what the product is. And so again, you're a pepper mill, so we understand what the product is, which is awesome. Again, very clear, sleek design. That alone is probably just going to drive tons of sales. But again, looking here, this is not the most compelling imagery that you have. I love the status quo. That's what this is. So this graphic is incredible. Like I bet it's going to crush in ads. I think this is an awesome. You just remove all the text, literally remove the text. Maybe instead of black, have it like actual like pepper, like, you know, like just pepper texture or something. I don't know. But again, I love this graphic, but it's not showing off your product when it's used the most. And so we're thinking about what is the like aha moment. When do I love this product the most? And it's of course not just seeing it on the shelf, it's it actually working, which I love this, right? You got a beautiful product image. You've also, if I keep scrolling down, just showing like no joke, like we are peppering some steak here. This is serious. And so I would recommend bringing maybe this up, or maybe doing like a side-by-side GIF between like this one and this one, along with, you know, an image like I guess you've got this above the fold, which you don't necessarily need. But I would recommend bringing that all the way up to the top and focusing on really showing off like this works. Look at it working in its like best environment, right? Which is peppering some steaks, or, you know, I don't know, vegetables or whatever. So pepper saying 7 cranks to 70. So the next thing that I look for too is your headlines. So that's great. Your headlines are really, really important. And that's one of the things that you can do is you can go through and look at each of those headlines. And so I like what you're talking about here, which is like, you know, you were sick and tired of having to like do this for hours. So you came up with something better. And so from a structural perspective, like to start with like, this is the product. We're hitting the product first. Again, if I look at like this, right? We're looking at like the product first. And then we're getting into potentially like, you know, we're getting into like status quo kind of content, right? So first hit the product, right? So it's almost like a microsite landing page. This is everything you need to want and love this product. Then we're going to like take it a step back and we're going to go, okay, status quo. What was life like before this product? Which you land really well here. You've got all like the pieces. It's just more of a like, let's just structure this a little better, right? So like we got our hook, which is like this product is freaking awesome and it works great and it's incredible. Then we're getting into like taking a step back. This is status quo. This is like what life is like before this product, right? Which I think this graphic and this text really lands. And like, you know, I was like maybe a headline or something like I was tired of 73 cranks to season my steak. Like I was tired of this. And so that's where I would start. And then now we can start getting into the campaign page. So what others say, I think this is awesome. It is really good to get like a social proof section up high. I think maybe this is like a lot. Like if you can condense, like take like these testimonials and find a way to like squeeze them together and then do like a bigger testimonial section at the bottom of the page. Again, we're going to talk a little bit. You'll see in one of my graphics, I'll show you the consumer-based brand equity pyramid, but judgments, which is part of the purchasing process, is it happens a little bit later. So like seeing testimonials, like you want to have a little bit of social proof up top, right? Like maybe one quote and a bunch of like press mentions, but then you really want to hit it home again later. And then again, elite speed and efficiency. I love this. I think this is awesome. Another thing, I love the like grind options. We're like showing each of the pieces. Like it might be a good idea. Like again, think about like at the top of the page, make like if you're familiar with like the chunk method, the chunking method of like writing essays and stuff like that. This is like your intro paragraph, right? And so in your intro paragraph, you're identifying like all the stuff that you're going to talk about later on. Just again, I'll go back to like Lulu Pet, for example, Lulu Pet, right? So these are all things that are going to be talked about later on. And so that's one of the cool things is if you can get all of that, because like not everybody likes to scroll and you've got a really simple product. So people are going to want to scroll even less. But you want to still have the content, so don't not have the content. But if you can also condense it for them right at the top, they'll probably just look and then purchase immediately. So, yeah, so continuing on down here, it looks like we've only got another minute. The only other thing that I'll say, because again, you've got a lot of like really great content here, a lot of great headlines, a lot of great content. I love it. The one thing that I feel like this page is missing is the finished product, right? Is like people don't just make naked steaks covered in pepper. They make beautiful, like grilled, caramelized, delicacies. And so show me the end result. Show me some steaks that are cooked to perfection, right? Like show me what I'm going to make with this. Show me some dishes that are just like pepper perfection, right? Like show me these moments where it's like you're serving a product, you're serving a dish, and you're like, yes, I did it. I brought the pepper. And so that's the last thing that I'd recommend. So let's move on to number 4. So product messaging tools. So you've gotten a little bit of this from me kind of talking through aha moments and all of that stuff. And so I'm actually going to break this into 2 exercises, which is cool, kind of. So first is going to be the aha moment. And then second is going to be a tool or process I like to call is why and what else. So it's a why, what else exercise, and then aha moments. So if you want the easiest way to identify your product messaging and make sure you're going in the right direction, it's looking at your aha moment. So if you close your eyes and you think about, take like your favorite product, or I'm just gonna like grab a product that's like near, I'll use the Man Kitchen knife, right? So we've got this beautiful, beautiful knife, right? Awesome Man Kitchen knife. When am I gonna appreciate this the most? When am I gonna feel the pain of not having this product the most, right? When is that gonna happen? It's gonna happen most likely, let's say I'm cooking and I've got this like tiny little baby knife and I'm like trying to chop an apple, or I'm trying to chop up an onion and just taking forever. It's not like going well. And it just sucks. It's just so frustrating. And then of course, pulling out the Man Kitchen and I'm like chopping it up quick. I'm able to chop up that onion, chop up that apple. I'm able to move quicker, create better meals, not have to struggle against what I'm doing. That's when I'm going to love it the most, is when I am, in the kitchen cooking up a storm. And so awesome. So that is the best place to start when you are trying to identify your product messaging and your product imagery. So of course, like a knife, simple, right? So thinking about, when am I going to love, when am I going to enjoy this product the most? When am I going to be most thankful that this product exists? So really, really, really important. So that's the aha moment. Let me know if you guys have any questions about it. Next, I'm going to get into the why, what else exercise. So let's look at another product here. I'm just going to pull one up. So this is somebody from the crowdfunded community. I'm going to pull this up here. So from the crowdfunded community, they brought in this product. It's an automatically changing home air filter. So super cool, awesome product, right? They're on Indiegogo's like pre-launch page. And so again, I'm not going to give you feedback on here yet. You can definitely, you'll understand what's not working. And I've already shared it in the crowdfunding community a little bit, but I'm going to talk about this. So if we've got an automatic filter changer, right? An automatically changing home air filter. That's where we're going to start. And so we're going to do this exercise together. I got a piece of paper. So grab your paper and like roll this way so you can see me. So what we're going to do first is we're going to like put our product here, right? So we're going to draw a little like square. Again, you can like see that. That's our product. So now we're going to write out like, why do I like this product, right? So this is a air filter, right? Filter. Cool. So why do I need this product, right? So we're looking at different problems, aha moments. One is like, air quality is bad. Then I can go, what else, right? Other like key features of this product, easy to change, or easy / no change / change less, right? And so I could basically keep going, right? You're identifying like all of the different, reasons why this product is awesome. So now let's look at like, okay, cool. So why do I care about air quality, right? It's so I could, for example, maybe, coronavirus, right? Or I could talk about, pets. I could talk about like, why do I care about air quality, right? Because it's like trouble sleeping. So I'm gonna go down, and then what you can do is you can play into a vertical. So we'll go air quality, right? And then we've got like pet hair, right? Pet dander. So pet dander is like, why do I want to get rid of pet hair? It's because I've got like allergies. And then I can keep going. So why do I want to get rid of my allergies? Because I'm not able to enjoy time with my kids, right? And then I go one step further. Why do I want to enjoy time with my kids? It's because it's part of my like life mission. So where did I lose the product, right? So you build these out, you like map it down, right? So I lost the product. So when I'm looking at my life mission, okay, like air filter, life mission, okay, that's a little too far, right? So I lost the product there. So let's take it a step further, enjoying time with the kids. Okay, yeah, air filter helps me enjoy time with the kids. Okay, if I could say like, helps me sleep better to have better time with the kids, I get that. But really, again, we're landing on the allergies section. So you're looking at where did I lose? You're digging into the why, right? Keep digging to why. And so once you find that you've lost the product, that's where you've got a really, really good, we call them arrows. And so now you can build it back up. So this air filter improves the air quality, removes pet hair to remove allergies, so you can, enjoy life with the kids, right? So you're building these kind of like these threads, right? And you can do the trouble sleeping, like what does that lead to, so on and so forth. And so you're building these threads, and then you're mapping these threads back up to the main kind of point. And that's how you can kind of build out these arrows or these really interesting ways of messaging your product. So again, this is the tool that I like to use when building out our messaging strategy. And so what I'll do is I'll kind of map out the product and all of the different kind of like reasons why it's awesome, the different features. A lot of times you'll hear me refer to them as points of parity and points of difference. So we can pops or pods. So points of parity is like what makes us similar to competitors versus what makes us points of difference, what makes us different. You could like use a highlighter, for example, and highlight all of your points of parity and then highlight all of your points of difference. And then that then gives you a map into, okay, the minds of your consumer. Of course, my true favorite tool is the consumer-based brand equity pyramid, but that's like a whole other topic that I'll definitely cover on one of these. But this gives you a really, really strong understanding of like all the different reasons why this product is awesome, and gives you a lot of different kind of ideas to pull from. So now what you can do is you can look at this map and then pull out those threads and then map them out, right? Your top 20, 10, 50 headlines, right, about this product. And then you can now pull from them and test them in your advertising copy, on your campaign page, all of that fun stuff. So again, really, 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 really cool. Love this exercise. It's really important because if we go back to this example that I just showed you guys here, automatically changing home air filter, right? Like unchanged filters lead to air quality problems. So that's cool, right? So like not changing your filter, you're with filters on one roll. Like again, I can see, I gave some feedback earlier in the week and it looks like he's really applied this feedback really well. And so again, the first things first is like a filter. The most important thing about a filter is air quality, right? And on top of that, what's important too is identifying like, you need to make sure that, you are a good filter, right? Is this, like when I look at this, I'm like, okay, this thin, filter thing, right? If I look in this thing, that does that filter as good as, other products. And so you need to make sure that as you're going in here, and again, you're identifying what makes this product special and all the other fun stuff, that you're also making sure you're landing like best filter ever, and you only need to change it once a year. Super cool. So again, it's looking at those aha moments. It's looking at the why, what else. It's mapping all of that out can really, really, really help you make sure that you're, making sure that you're messaging your product correctly. So time to move to the next point, number 5. So this is your total marketing plan. I'm gonna take a quick sip of water here. Awesome. I believe this was also a crowdfunding project, Wave. You guys are awesome. So your total marketing plan in I bet I can get through this in less than 10 minutes. So what is this? What am I about to talk about? So it's really important as a CEO of a company, of course, to know where you're going, right? You need to know kind of where the ship is headed so that everybody on your team can work with you to make sure that, you're achieving your goals. And so the purpose of this topic is to help you from a macro level know kind of like what the path is. And so if you're like a crowdfunding guru or you've done crowdfunding before, this may be very basic. You may totally understand it all. It might not be important at all. You might totally get this. It's like wow, yes, simple. But it's really surprising how many people don't have like a 3-year plan. It's crazy. So many people do not have a plan. And so don't worry. That's what I'm here for. I am giving you a plan. This is like, again, me, I'm actually looking at launching some products next year with the LaunchBoom team. We're going to be launching some LaunchBoom products. And this is the exact process that we're again, putting our money where our mouth is. This is the exact process that we use for our clients. And it's the exact process that we're going to use to launch our own products eventually. So spoiler about that, by the way. So let's jump in. So number 1, pre-test. So this is, before you start running ads, before you have a pre-campaign or a test or anything like that, is you need to make sure, again, what we were just talking about, right, is you got your messaging down, right? So this tool you see here is the consumer-based brand equity pyramid. I explain how to use this powerful tool to get into the minds of your consumers and really understand how your brand lives within their minds and how to manipulate and tweak that and mold it into, the awesome the awesome brand that you are. And then, of course, also creating all the necessary assets, right? So you can see for the Give Remittance campaign, we've got this really awesome asset of, on one hand, you got the Give Remittance like holding up the fire, and then the other one's literally burning. So again, great example of really great content, because you're going to need assets and you're going to need messaging in order to do a proper test or a proper pre-campaign. So step 1 is to make sure that you've got your pre-test all ready to rock. Number 2, so now that you've got your pre-test, what you should do is a test boom. So I would recommend, of course, working with LaunchBoom. If you want to learn how, I'll talk about it at the end of this. I'd recommend doing a test boom with LaunchBoom. We do all of this stuff for you, the messaging, everything, the imagery, all of that fun stuff. And then we put it towards a test, which is sending traffic to a landing page to collect email addresses that will ultimately also become reservations, so that we can identify if you have a product that will work well for crowdfunding in the first place. Launching a crowdfunding campaign is not easy at all. It costs $50,000+. I don't even know. I don't even want to count the number of hours it takes, especially for a CEO, somebody launching a product, to actually make a crowdfunding campaign happen. It's a lot harder than it looks. And so what I always recommend is test it first. Before you invest $50,000, what if you just invest 10 or 15, right? That's so much better than investing, tons and tons of money into something that's not going to go well, right? Or to give you some really clear data to help you know that maybe your messaging is off, maybe your product cogs are off, maybe there's some sort of issue here. So test boom, right? That's what I recommend. Whether you do it with LaunchBoom or on your own, making sure that you're testing your product in the market like actually running ads and seeing, do people want this and why? And what are the metrics behind it? After you do your test boom, then you're going to move into pre-launch. And so what that's going to look like, again, we've got two really great examples of two ads for pre-launches that we're currently running right now. You're going to want to, again, do your pre-launch, build your email list. I talked about that earlier today, right? You want to make sure that you've got enough leads, you've got enough reservations to make sure that you're blowing it out of the water. Number 4 is finally LaunchBoom, right? This is your day one blowing it out of the water. So I think this was last week, right? Raised $263,000 in the first 24 hours, Bubble Hotels. And now it's like well over 350,000 raised. So again, full send, your first 24 hours, you're blowing it out of the park, you're blowing it out of the water. Even just hitting your goal, right? That's nothing to scoff at, right? Just $10,000 in the first 24 hours is huge. That's like, if you can just hit your goal in the first 24 hours, that means you're well on your way to having a strong 6-figure campaign. You don't need to do $200,000 to have a strong 6-figure campaign in the first 24 hours. But of course, if you want to do $1 million campaign, you probably need to be doing these kinds of numbers. Number 5, campaign advertising. So once your campaign is live, the number one way to keep sending it to make sure that you're able to keep growing is advertising. So once your campaign goes live, you're going to be spending a lot of money to continue to advertise your product. I can't tell you how many people come to us and are like, wait, we're live and now we got to keep spending money. I thought, well, we just hit $200,000. Why do I need to keep spending money? Well, because you're going to be able to raise a lot more than that. So here's a great example. This just ended last week. Hook Love, we raised over $580,000 on Kickstarter. Ended that project. Now we're on Indiegogo In Demand, but I'm getting ahead of myself. After of course, you have your successful Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign, making sure you've got a strong post-campaign survey where you're able to upsell them really cool add-ons and items, multiple units, things like that. Very important. It gives you the ability to increase your average order value. Great example, this EcoCube C, we raised like $370,000 on Kickstarter. We upsold an additional $250,000 of fish products and cool stuff like that after the campaign ended. And these were products that were already in the market, easy stuff that Kevin was able to grab and upsell. So again, post-campaign survey, really awesome. Again, really important part of the process to make sure that you ship everything to your customers as well. Then again, the second your campaign is over, again, this was kind of hard to like, do you put in demand first or post-campaign survey first? But they're happening concurrently. The second your campaign is over, it doesn't matter if you're on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, your Indiegogo In Demand needs to go live. It will help you keep the lights on and it'll help you keep advertising so that you can blow it out of the water. If you look here, you can see, so this is AIT, this is one of our AdBoom clients. We helped them raise $679,000 on June 20th, right? And then since then, we've raised we're almost to $1 million raised since then. And so again, continuing to spend, continuing to build that community, which what will that do? That will help you get a higher minimum, or you'll be able to get a better MOQ. You'll be able to order more units so that you're able to lower the cost per unit down. It'll keep the lights on, right? Because I can't tell you how many people too, should I keep going on in demand? Yes, right? Just because you're not spending money on ads doesn't mean your company is not bleeding money. Right? Because your salary, your team's salary, all of that stuff, every second you have the lights on costs money. And so making sure that you're constantly bringing in revenue to offset that, so important. And so that's why In Demand can help you keep the lights on, and you want to keep doing that until you deliver your product and even past then, until you're able to fully move into e-commerce. Now, once you've started to deliver your product, all of that fun stuff, that's when you should start thinking about equity crowdfunding. So you've done product-based crowdfunding, right? Awesome. Here's GoSun, fantastic example of an awesome brand that we've worked with quite a bit. After they, launched a couple of their crowdfunding campaigns, then they also do $1 million on equity crowdfunding every single year. Super cool, right? So you want to make sure that you're able to, so now you're turning your backers into investors that and these are investors that, you know, are awesome. They're supporting you. They're buying your product. It's the best kind of investor ever. After that, again, I recommend Start Engine. They're awesome. They're amazing. There's some other great platforms out there as well. But again, if you want to learn more about that, we've got a really good webinar. And again, feel free to ask me any questions about that. Next is pre-ecom. So that's while you're on in-demand, you're testing all of your e-commerce messaging, and then move into ScaleBoom, which is, of course, what we call e-commerce. So a lot of people don't know this. LaunchBoom does do e-commerce, and we crush it. So Scoop, for example, raised like 200 and something thousand on Indiegogo. And then literally the next month, we did over $400,000 in sales on e-commerce. Sometimes your product is just going to do way better on e-com. Maybe you've got a demographic that's a little older or something like that, just like for Scoop, for example, did so much better on e-com, and since then has raised millions. So what the heck? We're back at number 1. Exactly. So after you did number 10, you start over again. You want to increase your AOV by offering new products. So now you want to start thinking, how can I start this process over and over and over again and just start introducing more products into my ecosystem? Because then your next launch, you've already got a community behind you and you're just adding fuel to the fire. So again, that's how this process works. It's a cycle. You're starting again and again and again and again. And so that's, again, Giver is a perfect example of that. Their first campaign, they raised $250,000. The most recent campaign, the Giver Mittens, raised over $1 million. Do it. So this has been an awesome hour. We're starting to get close here. We got the last 10 minutes. We're going to be doing Q&A and giveaway. So if you have any questions for me, please be sure to ask them. So get some questions and comments. I can pull them on screen. If you've got any questions for me, I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. And while you get those questions ready, I'm going to announce our awesome giveaway. So the winner, so first, I guess you probably want to know, well, what are we giving away? So we're giving away a full license to LaunchBoom Academy. So that's over 100 video lessons, information, valuable content, so that you can take this information and launch your very own product. So again, it's packed with just so much information from pre-launch to post-launch and everything in between. You also get to see tons of recordings of webinars and office hours and all of that kind of stuff. So it's so cool. And so the winner is Polka. So congratulations, Polka. We're going to get you, we're going to be able to make sure that you have access to LaunchBoom Academy. Again, for people that don't know who she is and how awesome she is, let me see if I have a quick bio on her. Unfortunately, I don't. I believe, though, that she was in the military and was wounded while serving our country. So again, huge thank you to you, and it's an absolute pleasure to support you with a free license to LaunchBoom Academy. So really happy to support people like you who are making their dreams a reality and taking a big leap and making crowdfunding and making your product a reality. So super cool. So let's dig into some of these questions. So this is coming in from Facebook. For those e-com launch, is it the exact same process? Expect on launch day, traffic will be directed, except the traffic will be directed to the site. So if you're doing an e-com launch, you can take this exact same process and launch an info product. You can launch a movie. You can launch whatever you want, a board game, literally anything, right? This process works well no matter what you're doing. So that's super cool. And so you absolutely can use all the tools provided, again, LaunchBoom Academy or our team provides in order to do just an e-com launch. With the ScaleBoom team, so what we're focused on is we're not necessarily as focused on building a bunch of hype and then launching it. That's more for early adopters. So early adopters are again, because we're looking at two very different demographics, right? People who back via crowdfunding is one demographic. People who buy via e-commerce is another. And of course, there's a ton of overlap. I myself have backed hundreds of campaigns on crowdfunding and purchased a bunch of products online. Again, there's overlap there. But again, the pre-launch experience is more for those like super early adopter people. They love that excitement of the pre-launch. That's not for everybody, right? That's not everybody's into that. People just want to be like, I want it now. I want to purchase it now. I want it in 2 days via Prime shipping, right? So e-com is more for those people, right? The people that just want it now. And so when it comes to our ScaleBoom team, we're not focused on these like big ramp up launches to like big explosive day ones and stuff like that. It's more about driving consistent and scalable revenue every single day. So that is, again, that is how we do that. Next question. Have you guys used ManyChat or Messenger Chatbot to build and launch crowdfunding yet? If so, how does this compare to an email launch list? Great question. We have. We did a bunch of testing back when like ManyChat was like in its heyday and all of that stuff. It was really hard because the conversion rates on you had massive open rates, but the click-through rates and the purchase rates for whatever reason were a lot less than email. Now, it was something we didn't fully test. I would say the best example of us using ManyChat or Messenger Chatbot really well was for Project Evo. In my opinion, probably one of the best ways to use messenger bots is actually to get people into Facebook groups. So you use messenger bots to like start really simple conversations to get people into a Facebook group, and then use the Facebook group to nurture, collect email addresses, all that other stuff, and then get people to purchase. Why is that? Just in my experience, and I know that there are some like really, really bad, amazing, incredible, I mean bad in a good way, ManyChat engineers out there that can create these incredible systems and walkthroughs and experiences. I'm not one of those people, so I don't know if I can even say I've fully tested ManyChat to its fullest ability. But from my experience and like from what I've done, focusing, it's hard to get somebody to purchase off of a bot experience. It seems to be really supportive at getting people into a community or like nurturing kind of, and then having a more human approach like an email or of course a phone call if you've got a bigger ticket item. Or a Facebook group is more effective than, let's say, a messenger bot or something like that. So that is something to consider. But it's definitely something that I'd love to, if anyone on here is a ManyChat or a chatbot expert or something like that, definitely something I'd love to explore more. So it looks like we are winding down here. If you guys have one or two, I'm going to get through kind of the next 2 slides. And then if there's any more questions that come in between now and then, I'll see if I can get those answered. But let's get to the end here. So again, this was awesome. Please comment, like, share this. If this was valuable, let me know what section. Again, we went through 6 different sections today. What was the most valuable for you? What did you enjoy learning the most? I would love to hear from you. What are some questions that you have for future LaunchBoom Lives? And yes, there will be future giveaways. Every single, again, we'll be here every single week. I don't know if we'll be doing a giveaway every single week. Maybe we'll be able to give away some cool products as well. We'll see. Yeah, so let's definitely, I'm so excited to see you guys next week. So so again, let me know kind of what you guys enjoyed the most. So this LaunchBoom Live is brought to you by LaunchBoom, LaunchBoom Academy, and the Crowdfunded Summit, the crowdfunded community. Again, if you want to get the most out of LaunchBoom Live, join the crowdfunded community. So if you just go to Facebook, look up crowdfunded community, just in the search bar, it'll be the first thing that pops up. Would love to see you in there and all of that fun stuff. Yeah, people are asking about merch, definitely coming down the road. Maybe we'll do a crowdfunding campaign for our merch. So again, just really, really excited for this and really excited for future LaunchBoom Lives. So if you'd like to learn more, I'd love to invite everybody here to hop on I would love for you to hop on a strategy call with somebody on our team. They'll be able to kind of walk you through. Again, I talked you through this marketing strategy. They can get a lot more detailed, especially during the crowdfunding part. They'll be able to support you in identifying the best course of action. If we're a good fit for you, they can tell you more about LaunchBoom Academy, more about the crowdfunding community, more about TestBoom and all of our incredible services. So if you go to launchboom.com/apply, you'll be able to apply to work with us, and that'll get you on the phone with one of our strategists to be able to talk through kind of how we can best serve you and make sure that we're a good fit for you. So you go to launchboom.com/apply. That's the best place to go to learn some really fantastic information. You'll get on the phone with a really talented product launch specialist. So really excited about that. Again, it looks like here we'll pull up some highlights. So super helpful, Tom, updating the Pepper Canyon page right now. Awesome. I'm so glad to hear it. Best part was hearing how to build a great landing page and specific numbers you provided on CPR, number of emails. Super cool. Somebody said, so buying one for my grandma will be easier on her wrist when she uses one. That's for the Pepper Canyon. Let's see. Let me know what any other feedback on today's live. So people said marketing plan, that was their favorite. Awesome. Super excited about that. So stoked. So everyone's asking about merch. So yeah, we'll definitely I'll share my I won't spoil it. I've got some really crazy ideas for how we're going to be doing some crowdfunded community and LaunchBoom merchandise. So like really crazy ideas. So it's probably not going to be cheap, but it's going to be incredible. Like I'm talking about, it's like lifetime guaranteed stuff. So super cool. Again, thank you everybody for being on today. And again, I will see you all next week at 10 a.m. Same place, same time. And I hope you all have a fantastic Tuesday. Take care, everybody.